Time now for business. I'm joined by Anke Uhle. Anke, good morning to you. Now, we're starting with China, which released new figures on its GDP today. Tell us more.
That's right. So China's economy in its first quarter grew a lot more than expected. That's according to official government figures. It's up 6.9% in the first quarter of the year. Analysts were expecting somewhere around 6.8%, which is still higher than previous quarters. Let's take a look now at a graph that shows China's GDP growth over 5 years. We can see that it's slowed down a lot in the last 2 years. This quarter's figures are the highest since Q3 of 2015. The latest results suggest that growth is stabilizing in the country, but many analysts and economists are still nervous about China's heavy reliance on government stimulus and, of course, its rising debt.
Right now, Anke, talk us through how the Asian markets are reacting to those results.
So despite this positive report coming out of China, most Asian markets retreated at the start of the session. But as we saw the session continue, both Seoul's Kospi and Japan's Nikkei rose back into the green. The Nikkei closed the session up 0.11%. The volatility we're seeing is due to the rising tensions in the Korean peninsula that has investors very concerned. European markets and Hong Kong are closed today for Easter Monday.
Right, now next, Anke, your story that you're bringing to us takes a look at one campaign promise that was made by a particular French presidential candidate.
That's right. So Benoît Hamon, the socialist candidate, has promised to implement universal basic income in France, offering all French citizens 750 euros of welfare per month. This plan's been criticized by conservatives and even some liberals as too expensive and unrealistic. But a startup in Berlin has been testing the concept since 2014, with some pretty surprising results. Martin Pollard explains.
Mikko is 5 years old, but he's already earning €1,000 each month. He's one of 70 people, including around 10 children, to receive such payments. They're part of an experiment into Universal Basic Income, or UBI. Mikko's parents entered him for this. Then he was chosen, like the others, after his name was drawn from a raffle.
It's been really cool. We're very happy. Mikko jumps up and down in the flat, happy to have been earning money.
And Jana is happy for his brother. For the whole family, it's been exhilarating.
And apart from that, it's clearly great to have that sum of money at the start of the month. You can say, great, we only have the rent left.
The organisation behind this is the non-profit Mein Grundeinkommen, which means My Basic Income. Its goal is to prove to skeptics that offering unconditional payments to all citizens is a workable model. The project is financed through crowdfunding. It's already gained more than 55,000 donors.
Receiving something without having to give anything in return changes one's attitude towards life. It allows you to flourish, to take responsibility. It makes you want to take control.
Mein Grundeinkommen has its critics, and even its founder admits that 60% of the budget currently goes on the project's 20 employees. But its work is part of a trend. Other trials are planned or are taking place elsewhere, like in Finland, which is testing the idea with 2,000 homeless people.
It's time now to take a look at some more business news that's making headlines around the world. After United's overbooking scandal, another U.S. airline has changed its own policy. Delta Airlines has increased its compensation for customers that are bumped from flights. Agents are now authorized to offer up to $2,000 for voluntary denied boardings, but in some cases, compensation can go up to $9,950. Previously, the cap was $1,350. The finance affiliate of China's Alibaba Group has raised its bid for U.S. electronic payment firm MoneyGram. Ant Financial increased its offer to $1.2 billion to buy the firm, and the deal was unanimously approved by MoneyGram's board. If the deal gets final approval, it would be a major step to overseas expansion for Ant, which is also planning an IPO.
All right, Anke, and finally from you, there may be trouble on the horizon for the world-famous Swiss chocolate industry.
Yeah, so around Easter time is normally a very booming success for Swiss chocolate makers. People around the world indulge in chocolate bunnies, eggs, flowers, you name it. But the veer towards more health-conscious snacks, along with a rising price of cocoa, is threatening the 200-year-old industry. The fact is, people aren't eating that much chocolate anymore, and two of the biggest Swiss chocolate companies are scrambling to find ways to adapt to this. Last year, Lindt saw its organic sales slow to 6%, and its shares fell 12% from their peak in December 2015. Nestle, the world's largest food and drink company, saw organic sales fall to 1% from 2015 to 2016. So the industry is under threat.
There's no danger in my house. Plenty of chocolate still being eaten. I can assure you of that. Thank you very much, Anke, for the business roundup.